Right now, helping the hungry and homebound. Madison has a new food delivery program, but in order to get it off the ground, they need your help. We're talking about that right ahead.
And we are learning more about a controversy on the UW campus this morning. We'll take a look at this video and explain it straight ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday, October 10th. I'm Leah Lynchide.
And I'm Josh Freider. Meteorologist Hattie McLean is here now with some changes on.
You can just
I
laugh.
just can't even, I know. It's just like we were so lucky this week, and then it's like.
It's over.
It's over.
Okay. We know we still have one more mild day today. It's not going to be as sunny as it has been, but most of the day is going to be dry, and we'll still top close to 70 degrees. So still not a bad day at all. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. We can't see a whole lot right now. Sun comes up after 7 o'clock, and we have some clouds in the area this morning. Some rain has been trying to work its way into southern Wisconsin as well, but those showers really just fall apart as they hit the Mississippi River Valley. Dry air in place is preventing them from moving east. Our chances for rain start to increase after 4 o'clock today. Temperatures right now are still in the 50s. We're actually down a couple of degrees here in Madison to 53. Janesville's still at 57. Platteville's still at 55. And Mineral Point is at 54. Temperatures will climb into the upper 60s later on this afternoon with a breezy southeast wind. It'll be anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. A look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. So far, we've had great travel conditions. Just starting to see a few brake lights at Stoughton Road and the Beltline. Otherwise, no major issues to report around the area. And that's your first alert traffic.
Hattie, thank you very much. We start this morning with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Pacific Gas and Electric is beginning to shut off power in the San Francisco Bay Area this morning.
Yeah, that is because the process could affect hundreds of thousands of customers. It started yesterday when PG&E shut down power for around 500,000 people in Northern California. This is all an attempt to avoid sparking a wildfire, as they're seeing the strongest winds since historic fires happened in 2017. Power likely won't be restored for days.
Also new overnight, Apple is no longer offering a smartphone app that allows Hong Kong activists to report police movements during ongoing protests. Chinese media had pressured Apple when the ruling Communist Party's main newspaper said the app HKmap.live, quote, facilitates illegal behavior. Beijing has pressured organizations, including the NBA, for their comments in support of the protesters.
Now, this comes as China and the U.S. are set to start trade talks again today. President Trump has declined to criticize China for pressuring the NBA. As the president looks to keep those good relations with China, the Washington Post reports Trump believes a deal is within reach. The two parties are looking to narrow the differences enough to avoid a tariff rate increase on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods. That's scheduled to go into effect on Tuesday.
New details this morning in northern Syria. The president of Turkey says 109, quote, terrorists have been killed since yesterday as Turkish forces move into towns in Syria. Now in its second day, residents of northern Syria are scrambling to get out on foot in cars with rickshaws piled with belongings. Reports say Turkish troops haven't made much progress on the several fronts they've opened in just the past few hours. President Trump called the Turkish offensive a bad idea just days after he pulled U.S. troops from the border. He has faced strong bipartisan opposition to that pullout.
More local news now. UW-Madison is once again suspending a fraternity that's found itself in trouble multiple times in recent years.
The university announced this week they're suspending Sigma Chi from all university activities until January 21st, or when the chapter elects a new executive board, whichever is later. The suspension comes after they served alcohol at an event despite already being on probation, meaning they aren't allowed to serve alcohol. Sigma Chi was suspended in 2017 for providing alcohol to minors in a song glorifying sexual assault. They were also suspended in 2015 for underage drinking. They have a right to appeal that suspension.
New this morning, college Republicans are tweeting their frustration after someone covered the organization's office with signs calling President Trump racist and sexist. In a video posted by the group on Twitter, you can see this woman taping nearly 24 sheets of paper on the door. Those labeled the president homophobic and a bigot. The university responded on Twitter, saying the UW does support free speech rights of its students, but points out that it is banned to post unapproved signs in public spaces on campus. This all comes as the Board of Regents prepares to meet tomorrow to consider possible punishments for students who interfere with campus speeches.
Watertown police need your help this morning finding the people who went on a vandalism spree Tuesday night. There are at least 12 spots in Watertown these people hit. In some spots, they smashed windows. Others, they spray painted signs and cars. They also keyed 4 cars. Watertown police have kept track of all of the calls, and they think this is the work of kids, something that they say is becoming more common, but they need your help to prove it.
Look at the list that we put out there. If you live in the area, take a look at your video and see if you have anything that may help us solve this.
We have a link to that list up on our website, channel3000.com.
In Rock County, police are asking for the public's help after a string of break-ins in rural Janesville. Deputies say 2 nearby homes on the same street were broken into Friday. While no one was hurt, they say the burglars used force to enter both of those houses. Neighbors say they're concerned about what this means for their community.
I don't know. I still don't know what to think. Well, you got to keep everything locked up tight. I don't know if that does any good. And just be cautious. You're going to have to anywhere you live in anymore, I guess, today.
Police say anyone with information should call the Janesville Area Crime Stoppers. That number is up right now over on channel3000.com.
Enrollment for the Janesville School District is down once again this year, but it's not all bad news. The Janesville Gazette reports the number of students enrolling from other districts has increased. Total enrollment in early childhood programs through 12th grade is down 172 students from last year. That is the lowest enrollment in at least 15 years, and it's lower than January's count when the district dropped below the 10,000 student mark. The Department of Public Instruction says the numbers reflect statewide demographic trends, which show enrollment is down.
Madison College is starting a new food pantry for its students this morning. The 4 regional campuses in Watertown, Portage, Reedsburg, and Fort Atkinson also have food pantries open to their students. This new one is going up on the Truex campus. Any student with a valid student ID who's enrolled in at least one course can access it. It's open Tuesdays from noon until 2 and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 11. Speaking of food pantries, more than 2,500 elderly folks here in Madison and Monona aren't getting enough to eat every day. We're talking about someone's parents or grandparents who could be going hungry.
But there is a new way to help them out, and Christina Laurie joins us live this morning to explain. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. Food Bridge is Madison's newest food delivery program geared towards homebound seniors who can't leave their homes to get access to nutritional food. Many of them can't even afford it to begin with. They're living on Social Security alone, about $18,000 a year, which we know does not go very far. Charles McLymans, you're the president and CEO of River Food Pantry, where we are this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You do so much good for the community. So why get involved in this new program?
This is an exciting new partnership that will allow us to reach some really hard to reach older adults. So this is a partnership with Newbridge and RSVP, and it's going to serve hard to reach older adults, low income. They're living at 150% of the federal poverty level or below. That's about a little over $18,000 a year gross income. They will be enrolled in case management at Newbridge, and they'll fill out a menu that the drivers from RSVP will come here and shop at the river according to the choices and needs of the older adult and deliver it to them. And so it's about building community.
And in order to make this work, you need volunteers. What would you say at home to anyone watching this who wants to help?
Right. So we need volunteers in all the organizations. So we need volunteer drivers at RSVP. We need volunteers at Newbridge to come in. We need 30 volunteers at Newbridge to come in and help with a variety of task companionship. We need volunteers at the river to help stock the shelves, to help distribute, hand the food out to people, and all of the operations. So
from every angle here, you need volunteers, and we have
do.
links on our website to how you can either volunteer or you can donate as well if you don't have a lot of time or can't leave your house in these upcoming cold months. But Josh and Leigh, we know how nasty winters can get here in Wisconsin, so in order to help these homebound adults have access to nutritious food, a program like this new food program is very vital.
All right, Christina Laurie reporting on a very important topic this morning. Thank you, Christina.
All right, your time right now is 6:09 this morning. City leaders are meeting tonight to talk about Sati Roads Conway's $40 wheel tax plan that's drawing some criticism for being the highest in the state.
But the mayor says without it, the city could be forced to close a fire station or stop the crossing guard program. Alders say instead she could just cut the 5 proposed new positions for the Metro bus system. A memo from the city attorney shows Madison would have the highest wheel tax in the state under this proposal, out of the 24 cities in Wisconsin that already include a vehicle registration fee. The mayor says Wisconsin state law puts a number of constraints on how cities can increase revenue, and this proposal is something she doesn't take lightly.
I don't think it's an ideal solution in any way. It will have an impact on households, obviously, in the city, but it is the only tool that the state gives us.
Members of the Finance Committee will take up that proposal tonight. If it passes the full council, the tax could go into effect February 1st. All right, 6:10 on your Thursday. Still ahead for us here on News 3 Now this morning. We will tell you how the latest iPhone update could help save your hearing. Dr. Mandira Mehra is here to talk about it after the break.
But first, changes. In the weather department, that is. We're talking about cooler temps and rain, maybe some snowflakes.
Oh, great voice, Josh.
Thank you. That's coming up in Hattie's First Alert forecast. This is News 3 Now this morning.
Change.
This portion.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Things are changing in the weather department today, but we will manage to squeak out one more mild day for southern Wisconsin. A cold front moves through on Friday, bringing falling temperatures. But look at Doppler track this morning. You'll note some light rain activity trying to move into southern Wisconsin. Most of this rain not actually hitting the ground, or not likely hitting the ground this morning, as we have very dry air in place. That more significant rain further back to the west is likely going to impact the area a little bit later on this afternoon. So that's when our best chances for rain arrive, probably after 4 o'clock. Here's a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model. Just mostly cloudy skies through the morning. Temperatures will still be climbing into the upper 60s today, with some rain spreading across the area tonight and continuing on and off on Friday. It will come to an end from west to east Friday evening, but it will be very windy and cold behind that cold front. There may be a few flurries flying even here across southern Wisconsin. Best chance, though, would definitely be across the northern part of the state. Those cold temperatures are going to stick around right through Sunday as well. So taking a look at the future track precipitation amounts, again, still expecting around a ½ inch to about an inch. Looks like the model has updated and increased those rain amounts a little bit since the last model run, but you get the idea, kind of a decent amount of rain coming to southern Wisconsin. Now, the snow is not likely to stick on the ground. Ground is still pretty warm at this time of the year, but there will definitely be some snowflakes flying for the Northwoods this weekend. Our current temperatures are, for the most part, in the 50s across the Badger State. Take a look at Fargo, though, down to 38 degrees. That is the cold air that is going to move our direction throughout the day. Temperatures across southern Wisconsin still in the 50s, though, in all locations, so a relatively mild start. Mostly cloudy skies, mainly dry through the morning into the early afternoon hours. Temperatures will top in the upper 60s today as those showers start to spread in after 4 o'clock. Those showers become a little bit more numerous and widespread overnight, and they may be heavy at times. On Friday, we're still going to look at some rain on and off through the day, but it will come to an end Friday evening. Just windy and cold conditions then for the rest of the evening. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have temperatures that will start in the 60s tomorrow morning, 63 degrees. We will just fall through the day. We bottom out at 34 Friday night, so some frost is possible Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night with cold temperatures in the mid-30s. Here's a look at your First Alert traffic maps now. It's time to send it over to Jason Stone for all the details. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. Some minor congestion on the Stoughton and Verona Road interchanges. Otherwise, no problems getting on the Beltline and driving at the posted speed limit. No delays on Verona Road as of right now. All routes into Madison and around Dane County are clear. And no issues commuting downtown, just the routine brake lights popping up on East Wash. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Jason and Hattie, thank you both very much. It is 6:17 right now. If you have the latest iPhone update, you may have noticed the new feature in the Health app that can track how loud sounds are coming through your headphones.
This is really interesting, but it can be hard to tell how loud is too loud. Here to help answer that question is Dr. Mandira Mehra from SSM Health. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Hearing well.
That is good. I would never guess how loud is too loud. I would have no idea.
And I think this is something that we all lose perception of, you know, especially because if you just go to a coffee shop nowadays, rather than people talking to each other, what you notice is everyone's got their earpods, earphones in. We're all sort of talking into the air,
right.
You know, no good perception of what is too loud. So that's a really good question. If you want to get scientific about it and talk about the numbers, usually below 70 decibels is considered safe. You know, we can talk at 70 decibels, you can hear us well. From 3 feet away, that's usually the marker. Can you hear somebody at 3 feet away without having to yell? That's about 70 decibels. A hairdryer is about 75 decibels, and then from there on, we're getting louder and louder. Earphones or listening devices do not, unfortunately, have a limit on them. By the manufacturer, but they generally can go as loud as 95 to 110 decibels. This is alarming because at 110 decibels, sound is basically 100 times louder than 85, and above 85, you're saying this is just too loud. Too loud is an issue because the longer we are exposed to louder noises, the more permanent damage we are doing to the ear canal, the little hairs in there that let us hear. And once you endure that damage, it's really non-reversible. And so that's why you'll see a lot of people, whether they work at the airport or they work around loud machinery, they often take precautions and wear ear muffs, ear plugs, that kind of thing. Other tips for people are that if you have children, try to avoid the in-the-ear pod type of earphones. Really the over the ear is better, and then setting limits to that so they can't just ramp up the volume. For all of us, as well as teenagers, adults, if we're having conversations, if we're listening to a lot of music, if you are listening to loud music or you're at a concert, distancing yourself from the noise source. So for example, speakers, that will minimize, again, how loud things will be. Also, minimizing the amount of time that we're listening to loud things. So things above 85 decibels, really we want to minimize that. If it's at about 85 decibels, 8 hours or less, and let's say you go out to a concert, out to a disco or a club, actually taking a break, giving your ears that rest. About 10 hours is recommended to let your ears kind of recover and recuperate. So we have a lot of good tips for people here. But the question of how loud is too loud, if you can't have a conversation from about 3 feet away without yelling, then it's probably too loud. Again, some circumstances like being in a football game, being at a concert, things like that are okay, but you just want to minimize that.
All right. Important stuff as always. Dr. Mara, thanks for joining us.
Yes, great being here.
Still ahead, we are headed back to Southwest Wisconsin to meet a gentleman who's making Highland very proud this morning, and the rest of the state, too. We'll tell you why Wisconsin lawmakers are celebrating Al Mitchell after the break.
But first, we are trying our hardest to hold on to these warmer temperatures. Hattie's tracking one last mild morning at the bus stop for the kiddos this week. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. We thank you for that, and we'll be right back.
Cobra's
.23 on a Thursday morning, and it's kind of a cool start. I don't know, like it's still mild out there, but my hands are freezing, so I've got my hands in my pockets, and it's not even really that cold yet.
Josh is not ready for this weekend.
I'm not ready.
It is going to be a rough winter, Josh.
Oh, man.
The problem is we haven't had a lot of adjustments period. We're going from very nice conditions to unseasonably cold weather this weekend.
Yes.
Like the flip of a switch.
Yes, just be prepared. Here's a look at our current temperatures. Really not that bad this morning, though. Temperatures are in the 50s. 53 here in Madison, 57 in Janesville, 53 in the Dells. A look at temperatures across the area, and radar will show you that we're trying to have some showers work their way into southern Wisconsin. They really just fall apart, though, as they spread eastward. The air is very dry here across southern Wisconsin, and those showers aren't going to have much luck over the next couple of hours. But as the atmosphere saturates today, our chances for rain start to increase later on. So through the day, your school day forecast, temperatures will be in the mid-60s at lunchtime. Still not bad. We top at 69 degrees just after school lets out today. But look for cloudy skies and rain chances really starting to pick up this evening. Rain is likely then for tomorrow. Plan on kind of a wet day. Temperatures will top at 63 in the morning. Will drop through the day. Have a wonderful Thursday.
Hattie, thank you very much. 6:25 right now. Lawmakers are holding a ceremony at the state capitol today to recognize law enforcement across the state for their service.
Out in southwest Wisconsin, a big family, 800 people strong, will be rooting for one of their own, making history for his commitment. You'll only catch his story on News 3 Now from Highland. If you take a minute,
just like any other kids growing up,
and think about
we had
your dad.
backyard swimming pool, and he was the one that taught us how to float in the pool.
He might sound something like Al Mitchick.
Hustling around on the floor, rolling with him at the end of the day after supper, you know.
Al's family thinks of him as their caretaker growing up.
We'd be eating supper or going to a ball game or maybe even going to church, and
He jumps up, and all of a sudden he's heading out of the house, and Terrors are heading out of the garage.
Turns out Al was caretaker to a bigger family, too.
he was very active in the first responders, and maybe he wasn't here when we had to do something or whatever, but he was helping somebody else.
Al was one of Highland's first EMTs.
Or the defib still hanging on the wall up there.
That was back in 1972.
Whether you're shocked or not shocked.
But this isn't a story about an end of watch. Far from it. Al's service to his whole family is still going strong. In year 47, to be exact.
I wouldn't have that if it wasn't for my wife and my family backing me up.
At 80 years old, after nearly half a century, Al is the longest-serving active first responder in Wisconsin. State lawmakers will mark that milestone with a ceremony Thursday.
I never wanted any glory for it. And still don't. Because I just want to help people.
Al won't say it's easy.
You do what you got to do. When you get home, you can cry.
After all, even dads cry sometimes.
I don't forget a lot of them. I've had more than once. Well, one night I even sat down in the emergency room and cried against the wall.
That's probably part of growing up in a small town. You know, everybody looked after everybody, and that's the way life was. And still is, you know, in small towns.
Yeah. People have about 10 numbers on their numbers, and he's got 4.
Al isn't quite done looking after his hometown.
I got another year left on my license.
He'll renew it after that, too, God willing.
They want me to, anyway.
You gotta be careful what you wish for.
Because, as he sees it, this dad's job isn't done yet.
As long as I'm still able to do it, I want to keep doing it.
So Al's family has continued to carry on his legacy out in Highland. When he stepped down as chief 5 years ago, his son Neil took over the department. He also has 5 nieces and nephews that have followed in his footsteps as first responders, along with several grandkids.
What a guy. That is awesome.
Isn't that incredible? I told you earlier, I grew up in this town with Al, and he was always at all of our volleyball games, our basketball games. And when you saw him leave, you knew that he was going out to do good in the community, go to respond to a crash and help somebody out who was in need.
Yeah, very well deserved recognition right there. Good for him.
Yeah, congrats to Al. All right, still ahead, we have the top 3 things you need to know on your Thursday as you head out the door.
Also ahead, Christina Laurie is live to tell us more about a program that is helping provide for senior citizens in need. This is News 3 Now this morning.
Madison.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your morning on this Thursday, October 10th. I'm Josh Brighter.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. Meteorologist Hattie McLean following a bit of a change in the forecast starting today and then just dropping on out throughout the weekend. We'll check in with her in just a minute. But first, we are following breaking news just into the newsroom this morning. The president of Turkey says 109, quote, terrorists have been killed since yesterday as Turkish forces move into towns in northern Syria. Residents there are scrambling to get out of the area. President Trump called for the Turkish offensive as a bad idea just days after he pulled U.S. troops from the border. He has faced strong bipartisan opposition to that pullout.
Also this morning, China and the U.S. are set to restart trade talks today as the president looks to keep good relations with the Chinese president. The Washington Post is reporting that Trump believes a deal is within reach, but any agreement must be better for the U.S. than for China. The two parties are looking to narrow differences enough to avoid a tariff rate increase on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods, scheduled to go in effect on Tuesday.
The third story we're following this morning, a day after declaring the impeachment inquiry is unconstitutional, President Trump says he could participate in the House's probe if the investigation was authorized by a House vote and if Democrats commit to following rules he views as fair. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian president says there was, quote, no blackmail in his conversation with the president. That call is at the center of the impeachment inquiry.
And those are your top three things this morning. Hattie's here with what you need to know with weather and traffic. Good morning, Hads.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. The sight from the Edgewater Skycam actually really pretty this morning. Take a look at the Capitol. Not completely cloudy right now, so we're seeing a little bit of a sunrise. We do have a lot of clouds in the forecast today, as well as some rain, but not until later on. Take a look at your Doppler track. It's showing you rain trying to move into southern Wisconsin, but really falling apart as it does so. Most of that rain not likely hitting the ground. Temperatures are still in the 50s, mid-50s in Prairie du Chien and Platteville, down to 53 here in Madison and Watertown, as well as the Dells. As you head out the door this morning, our temperatures are going to climb back into the upper 60s. We top right around 70 degrees later on this afternoon. Again, chances for rain mainly after 4. Here's a look at your traffic maps early this morning on a Thursday morning. Starting to see some brake lights on Park Street. Otherwise, no major issues to report. Travel heading into Madison still going at posted speeds. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center overnight. Madison police say a dog alerted residents in an East Side home that their cars were being stolen. It happened after 2 this morning on Winter Green Drive, just off of Commercial Avenue near Highway 30 in the interstate. Police say the thieves were able to get a garage door opener from a locked vehicle in the driveway to get into the home to steal car keys and other items. 2 of the 3 cars parked in the driveway were stolen. Police say the burglary is still under investigation.
6:34 right now. There are more than 2,500 hungry older adults in Madison and Monona, but a new program is working to cut that.
Food Bridge is in full swing for the first time this month. Our Christina Laurie is joining us live from the River Food Pantry with more. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. Many older adults who receive meals through programs like Meals on Wheels are forced to stretch what would usually be 1 meal into 2 or more, especially by the end of the month when they run out of both food and money. But that's no more thanks to Madison's newest food delivery program, Food Bridge. It's launching this month, but in order to make it a success, they need your help. Now, this pilot program will serve about 60 people ages 60 years and older who are homebound and nutritionally deficient. It just launched October 1st, and now the program is looking for volunteers. These volunteers will set up a time to bring them a month's worth of healthy, nutrient-dense food for free. Newbridge Madison and the River Food Pantry are partnering for this program and say 2,500 adults in Madison and Monona qualify for it. So in order to make it a total success, they need volunteers. Jim, you're here this morning from Newbridge. Why is it so important to get these volunteers?
Well, we can't do it with ourselves on our own. We do not have the staffing capacity to do that. And in order for us to meet that need, we're looking for about 30 volunteers who can give up like an hour or so a month to get the food to the seniors who really need it.
And it really just takes an hour or so a month. We have all this information up on our website, channel3000.com. If you'd like to volunteer, you can also just make a donation to Newbridge or the River Food Pantry, RSVP of Dane County. There are so many ways to give, and we're kicking off the giving time of year, Josh and Leah.
A very worthy cause. Christina Laurie reporting for us. Thank you, Christina.
6:36 right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we'll tell you what you need to know about Mayor Sati Rhodes Conway's proposed wheel tax.
And as we see an uptick in solar panel programs here in Wisconsin, we're taking a look at how effective they are in a less than sunny state. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns. Boy, just a beautiful look at the Capitol on this Thursday morning, even though we are less than excited about some cold weather headed our way, especially Josh.
I know, I'm just looking at that shot though.
Yeah, let's focus
that makes
on
me
that
happy.
shot. There you go. Some pretty sunrises this week we have caught. Hattie's going to have a longer look at your forecast coming up in a couple of minutes.
Can't complain about everything, can we? All right, or maybe we can. Let's take a look at the My Morning picture of the morning. Michelle sharing her morning picture, and this is just a beautiful shot as well.
Yeah, nothing to complain about here. Love all of those clouds. Beautiful day there.
Thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. If you've got a photo that you'd like to share of your morning, all you have to do is send it to us over on our Facebook page. Southern Wisconsin is turning to solar power now more than ever, with multiple big projects either online already or in the pipeline.
But lots of people are questioning whether solar power makes sense in an area that can be cloudy more often than not. From January through September of 2019, less than 1 out of every 5 days has featured clear skies in Madison. Experts say southern Wisconsin already comes into the fight for solar energy with a costly disadvantage.
So just because we're living further north and in a cloudier place, solar is twice as expensive here as it would be in Phoenix, Arizona, or some other sunny place. So on a cloudy day, you could have less than half of the electricity that you would on a sunny day.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield will explore the changing economics of solar power, plus what effect climate change could have on the future of that power source. That's coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Lots of folks have questions about this because some of those programs, some of those projects are going to be some of the biggest in the country coming to Wisconsin.
It is fascinating, too, so I'm looking forward to seeing his reporting tonight.
Definitely.
All right, still ahead for us. Temperatures are feeling a little like autumn, but this weekend we're really going to see them fall.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yes, Hattie's got you a look at your extended forecast coming right up.
But first, it is October 10th. We want to say happy birthday to Amelia, Chase, Emery, and all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning.
Look who.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. A beautiful start this Thursday morning. Here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam. You can see some holes in the cloud cover this morning, making for a pretty nice sunrise. Enjoy the mild temperatures for one more day. We have 50s here in southern Wisconsin, actually 60 in Des Moines this morning, but take a look off to the west. You can definitely see what's coming. Denver is at 22 right now. Rapid City is at 23. Bismarck, North Dakota is at 30. So cold air on the map. It is going to be moving in this direction. Those cold temperatures are where a cold front has already passed through, and this is a pretty strong cold front. Out ahead of it, southerly winds and moisture surging northward. It's really battling dry air that we have in place here across southern Wisconsin. You may have noticed the bright blue skies the last couple of days. Not a lot of moisture here right now, but the atmosphere will saturate through the day today as this front continues to work its way eastward. The front actually isn't going to move through until Friday, so that's why we have one more mild day. Now, with those showers falling apart as they reach the Mississippi River River Valley this morning. We'll focus on the rain that's further to the south and west. That is likely going to hold together long enough to make it into southern Wisconsin a little bit later on this afternoon. A few flurries are possible again tonight and on Saturday, but we're not likely to see any accumulation here. Now, in addition to the rain threat from this storm, colder temperatures are a big factor with this particular system. Freeze watches have been issued for much of Iowa and northwestern Illinois. Could be a season-ending freeze overnight Friday into Saturday morning. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, I know a lot happening. Take a look at these wind chills. This is Friday at 6:30. Feeling like it's in the mid-30s across southern Wisconsin. Overnight, those wind chills fall into the low to mid-20s for the state. And then through the day on Saturday, not much improvement. Wind chills will likely stay in the 30s through the day. Again, going back into the 20s Saturday night into Sunday morning. Another cold day expected on Sunday. So bundle up this weekend. Again, a pretty start though this morning. We have temperatures that are in the 50s right now. 52 in Watertown and Juneau. Janesville is at 57. That's one of the warmer spots. 54 in Prairie du Chien. 53 here in Madison. Your future track forecast model. Again, watch how this rain falls apart as we go through the morning hours. Just mostly cloudy skies. Mid-60s by lunchtime today. Chances for rain, though, moving in this afternoon, especially after 4 p.m. with highs in the upper 60s. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms are likely this evening. And overnight, there could be some heavy rain at times for southern Wisconsin. It's likely going to be a wet start tomorrow for parts of the area. Temperatures will be in the 60s in the morning, but they will drop through the day. Precipitation comes to an end from west to east, but it turns significantly colder for the region. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We have a high of 63. That's the same as tonight's low. Temperatures will go in the wrong direction tomorrow. And then for the weekend, a few showers or even a few snowflakes possible on Saturday. High of 46. Much of the same on Sunday. Here's our pet walk forecast. Hunter and Annabelle and Baraboo.
Hungry fellas.
I don't know. They're super cute though. They have, looks like they have bones. They're occupied.
They've got the right idea too.
Yeah, hunker down, right?
Thank you very much, Addie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us for the morning sprint after the break. 6:51, time for the morning sprint with the most local news to start your Thursday.
We begin with a developing story just into the newsroom within the last half hour. Madison police say a dog alerted residents in an East Side home that their cars were being stolen. It happened after 2 this morning on Wintergreen Drive, just off of Commercial Avenue. Police say the thieves were able to steal a garage door opener by breaking into a locked vehicle in the driveway. That's how they got into the home where that family was sleeping to steal cars and other items. 2 of the 3 cars parked in the driveway were taken.
College Republicans and members of the GOP Badgers are tweeting their frustration after a person covered the organization's office with signs labeling President Trump as racist and sexist. In a video posted by the group on Twitter, a woman is seen taping nearly 24 printer-sized sheets of paper, a few of which read Donald Trump is, and others with adjectives like homophobic and bigot. UW says they support free speech, but student policy bans hanging unauthorized signs.
UW-Madison is once again suspending a fraternity that's found itself in trouble multiple times in recent years. The university is suspending Sigma Chi from all university activities after members served alcohol at an event despite already being on probation. The chapter does have the option to appeal.
The president of Turkey says 109 terrorists have been killed since yesterday as Turkish forces move into towns in Syria. Residents there are scrambling to get out of the area. President Trump called the Turkish offensive a bad idea just days after he pulled U.S. troops from the border. He has faced strong bipartisan opposition to that pullout.
Apple is dropping a new app that allows Hong Kong activists to report police movements during protests. That's after Chinese media pressured the company, saying the app facilitates illegal behavior. This is part of a larger trend of China pressuring U.S. companies for their support of those Hong Kong protests, including the NBA.
China and the U.S. are set to restart trade talks today as the president looks to keep good relations with the Chinese president. The Washington Post reports that Trump believes a deal is within reach. The two parties are looking to narrow differences enough to avoid a tariff rate increase on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods, scheduled to go into effect on Tuesday.
The Ukrainian president says there was, quote, no blackmail in his conversation with President Trump. That call is at the center of the impeachment inquiry. President Trump's former Russia advisor will be interviewed on Monday as a part of the probe. In a new poll from Fox News, more than half of voters want the president to be impeached and removed from office.
A beautiful start this Thursday morning. Some clouds in the area. No rain just yet. The rain is falling apart as it tries to work its way into southern Wisconsin. Rain chances, though, really start to increase after 4 p.m. and then become likely overnight tonight. Here's a look at your temperatures through the day. One more mild day. Highs will be in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie. Pacific Gas and Electric is starting to shut off power for 500,000 people in California in an effort to try and avoid more wildfires. The winds across that state are the strongest they've seen in years since historic wildfires back in 2017. Hundreds of thousands of homes in the Bay Area will go dark later today.
Madison College is starting a new food pantry for its students. They offer healthy food choices that students can make at home. The college says any student with a valid student ID who is enrolled in at least 1 degree credit course can access the Truax Campus Food Pantry. Students can take up to 10 pounds of food 1 time per week for free.
Madison's newest food delivery program called Food Bridge just launched this month, and in order to make it a success, they need your help. They're looking for volunteers. These volunteers will pick up food from the River Food Pantry and deliver it to the hungry, homebound older adults once a month. Each delivery will give these people in need enough food for 2 or 3 nutritious meals a day. In order to receive meals through Food Bridge, you must be at least 60 years old, live in Madison or Monona, fall below 150% of the federal poverty level, and be homebound and at nutritional risk. Head to channel3000.com and search food to volunteer, to help out at the pantry, or to work as a delivery driver.
Thank you very much, Christina. Enrollment for the Janesville School District is down once again this year, but it's not all bad news. The Janesville Gazette reports the number of students enrolling from other districts has increased. Still, total enrollment in early childhood programs through 12th grade is down 172 students from last year. That's lower than January's count, when the district dropped below the 10,000 student mark.
Police are asking for your help after a string of break-ins in rural Janesville. According to the Rock County Sheriff's Office, 2 nearby homes on the same street were broken into Friday. While no one was hurt, they say the burglars used force to enter both the houses. Neighbors say they're concerned about what this means for their community.
Watertown police want your help finding the people who went on a vandalism spree this week. There are at least 12 spots in Watertown that were hit with spray paint, smashed windows, and keyed cars. Officers believe kids are behind the vandalism.
City leaders are meeting tonight to talk about Mayor Sati Rhodes Conway's $40 wheel tax plan that's drawing some criticism for being the highest in the state. But the mayor says without it, the city could be forced to close a fire station or stop the crossing guard program. Alders say instead she could cut the 5 proposed new positions for Metro Bus.
6:57 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your First Alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. The westbound Beltline is seeing some brake lights between Stoughton Road and Monona Drive. All other lanes are at the posted speed limit. Routine congestion on the intersections of John Nolan. No delays making your way downtown. And a disabled vehicle has been reported on the shoulder of northbound I-39 following the interchange to the Beltline. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason.
Can't get enough of this shot this morning. Live look from the Edgewater Skycam. Beautiful start to our Thursday morning. We're going to squeak on one more fairly decent day before the rain moves in later on. May see some of those showers as you head home from work, but temperatures will still be in the upper 60s. The bottom really drops out tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Addie.
And thank you for joining us. Go make it a great day. Guess what? It's Friday tomorrow. We'll see you then.